If only Thomas had kept quiet that day, the lions wouldn't be licking their teeth right now. In the small dusty village of Amaudo, there lived a boy named Thomas. He was only 14 years old, but his mouth was sharper than a razor. He could talk from morning till night, and he always had something to say, especially when it wasn't needed. Old people feared his tongue. Children avoided him. Even goats ran when they saw him coming. If someone wore a torn wrapper, Thomas would shout, "Auntie, is it the wind or hunger that tore your cloth?" If someone carried firewood, Thomas would say, "Uncle, is the bush owing you? Why are you carrying the whole forest?" People warned him, especially his grandmother Mama Ifioma, who always said, "Thomas, one day, your mouth will write a check your legs cannot cash." But Thomas would laugh and say, "Let it be so. At least the village won't be boring." That was Thomas. Until one fateful morning. Every 10 years, the people of Amaudo celebrate the Lion Festival, a day where villagers wear lion masks, beat drums, and sing to honor the ancient lions said to protect the forest. But this year was different. A strange thing had happened. For the first time in 100 years, real lions had been spotted near the village river. Big ones. Silent ones. Scary ones. People were afraid. The village chief, Oba Nwok, warned everyone to stay indoors. "This is not the year for foolishness," he said. "Respect the forest spirits. Watch your mouth. And whatever you do, do not mock the lions." But guess who didn't listen? Yes, Thomas. As the festival began, people danced quietly with their lion masks. Drums played soft. Songs were slow. Fear hung in the air like smoke. Then Thomas showed up. He came with a lion mask bigger than his own head and a broom in his hand. He started dancing in the middle of the village square, mocking the lions. "Look at me. I'm the big bad lion," he shouted, crawling on the ground like a cat. "Rar rar. Who's afraid of a chicken in lion's clothing?" The crowd gasped. "Thomas, stop it." Someone whispered. "The forest is watching," Mama Ifioma warned. But Thomas continued. He stood on top of the chief's stool and yelled, "If the lions are real, let them come for me now. Let them come and see who truly rules Amaudo." And that's when it happened. Suddenly, the wind stopped. The drums fell silent. Even the birds flew away. And then, from the edge of the forest, there came not one, not two, 3 giant lions. Their eyes were red like fire. Their teeth were long like knives. They didn't roar. They didn't growl. They stared directly at Thomas. People screamed. Mothers ran. Fathers hid. Children cried. But Thomas stood frozen. The lions didn't chase anyone else. They didn't touch the goats. They walked slowly, only toward Thomas. "Grandma!" Thomas shouted. But Mama Ifioma had fainted. The lions reached him. One of them licked his face. The other sniffed his hair. The biggest one circled him twice and sat. Then, something strange happened. The lions grabbed Thomas by his wrapper and dragged him into the forest. Villagers screamed. The chief shouted. Warriors chased, but it was too late. The forest swallowed him. Nobody had ever returned from the lion's den. Everyone thought Thomas was gone forever. But just when the village started mourning, on the 7th day, a loud roar came from the forest. Then a boy walked out. But this wasn't the Thomas they knew. His eyes were glowing. His voice was quiet. He wasn't laughing. He was barefoot. And behind him, the 3 lions followed, calmly, like pets. The village froze. Someone whispered, Is he now the lion's child?" Mama Ifioma screamed in shock and dropped her walking stick. "What have you become, Thomas?" Thomas looked around at everyone, opened his mouth and softly said, "The forest has spoken. The lions have chosen. I saw what no man has ever seen. But the secret must not be told, unless..." He paused. Then he looked straight at the chief and said, "Unless the village is ready for the truth about Amaudo. The forest has spoken. The lions have chosen. I saw what no man has ever seen. But the secret must not be told, unless the village is ready for the truth about Amaudo." Everyone was still, silent, confused. Then, someone in the crowd whispered, "Let him speak." Another person shouted, "Yes, we want to hear the truth." Mama Ifioma crawled on her knees and held Thomas's leg. "My child, please. If the lions warned you not to talk, please keep your mouth shut for once." But did Thomas ever listen? Never. He grinned. His sharp mouth opened again. "Well, if you all insist," he said, dusting his wrapper. "Let me tell you what I saw, because I cannot hold secrets. My chest is already hot." People leaned closer. Children sat on the ground. Even the goats gathered like they could understand. Thomas pointed to the forest. "When they dragged me inside, I thought it was over. I even started singing funeral songs for myself," he said, waving his hands dramatically. "But when we got deep into the bush, one of the lions stopped, looked at me and said, yes, he spoke. He said, 'Thomas, your mouth is strong, but your heart is stronger.'" Gasps filled the air. Thomas continued, "Then they took me to a secret cave, a place full of gold, crowns, drums, ancient weapons, even talking parrots. They told me the truth about Amaudo." The chief stood up, sweating. "Please, don't say it." Thomas blinked. "Why not? Should I swallow my tongue?" The chief shouted, "You were chosen. Not everyone must hear what you saw." Thomas scoffed. "Too late. My mouth already knows the story, and my mouth doesn't like to keep secrets." And then he dropped the bomb. Thomas raised his finger and shouted, "Amaudo is sitting on a lion kingdom. The whole village. This land belongs to the lions. We are not the owners. We are tenants." People screamed. "What?" "They said the lions allowed us to stay here in peace because we respected them. But now they are angry. Too many people have forgotten. Too many mouths are rude. And now," Thomas looked around slowly, "they want to take back what's theirs." The wind blew hard. Thunder clapped. And in the distance, a lion roared. Some villagers started packing their bags. Others dropped on their knees crying. The chief held his head. "You've spoken too much, boy. Now the lions will come for all of us." But Thomas, smiling, said, "Why fear when you have me? Me that ate roasted yam with a lion and danced with a leopard? I even taught one how to whistle." "Liar!" someone shouted. "Believe me or not," Thomas replied, "but don't say I didn't warn you." That same night, while people were still arguing, dancing to calm their fear, and praying, something strange happened again. The sky turned red. The birds disappeared. And 3 lion shadows appeared at the edge of the village. They didn't roar. They stood still as if waiting for something. Mama Ifioma ran to Thomas and whispered, "Tell them something. Say sorry. Say anything." But Thomas looked at the lions, looked at the villagers, and shouted, "You see now? I told you. But you people were too busy calling me talkative." He turned back to the lions and said loudly, "Great kings of the forest, I already told your secret because my mouth does not know how to close. But maybe you brought me back for a reason?" Then he added with a shaky voice, "Right." But the lions did not answer. They walked closer, step by step, silent, slow, eyes glowing, and then the biggest one opened its mouth. The lions stepped into the village. 3 of them. Their golden fur glowed in the moonlight. Their eyes sparkled like fire. But they were not growling. They didn't even blink. They just walked straight to Thomas. The villagers scattered. Some climbed trees. Some jumped into drums. Even the brave hunters hid behind children. Mama Ifioma knelt and shouted, "Thomas, just say sorry. Apologize now before they turn you into pepper soup." But Thomas folded his arms. "Why should I say sorry? I only told the truth. Is truth now a crime? Am I not a citizen of Amaudo with freedom of speech?" The biggest lion stopped in front of him and sat. It opened its mouth. But it didn't roar. It spoke. "Thomas," the lion said in a deep voice that shook the ground, "you were chosen to carry the secret, not to spill it." Thomas scratched his head. But you should have said so clearly, nah. I thought it was my duty to inform the village, like town crier." The lion growled. The ground cracked a little. A hut's window shattered. Then the lion added, "Because of your mouth, The village is now in danger. Thomas's eyes grew big. Danger, Ku? Yes, the lion said. You told them too early. The test was not complete. You were supposed to keep quiet for 7 more days. But now, the lion looked around at the scared villagers and growled softly. They will come. Thomas gulped. Who will come? The lion didn't answer. It turned around and walked back toward the forest. The other 2 followed. Just before disappearing into the trees, the big lion said, Prepare. At moon's end, the real kings will rise. As soon as the lions left, everyone turned on Thomas. Chief Oba Nwok removed his cap and shouted, Are you happy now, Thomas? You've invited a curse. Mama Ifioma cried, I told him. I warned him. His mouth is too fast for his own good. Even small children pointed fingers. Not Thomas O. He caused it. But Thomas didn't seem sorry. He stood on the chief's stool again and shouted, Why are you people blaming me? If they didn't want me to talk, they should have chosen a tortoise. That's what I do. Then he paused. But who are the real kings? That night, Amaudo changed. The river turned black. The water stopped flowing. Goats started speaking in dreams, warning their owners to leave. A baby was born with lion ears. Drums played themselves at midnight, and no one dared touch them. A message appeared on the chief's compound wall, burned into the mud. One boy talked. Now the silence is broken. People panicked. Some tried to run to neighboring villages. But every road led them back to Amaudo. Something, or someone, was trapping them. Thomas sat under a mango tree, sweating. For the first time, he was quiet for more than 5 minutes. Even the birds noticed. Mama Ifioma came and sat beside him. My son, are you finally ready to listen? Thomas looked at her. Mama, I didn't know it was this serious. I thought it was just story. She nodded. Now, we must fix what you broke. Thomas stood up. Let's go back to the forest and talk to the lions. Mama Ifioma gasped. Do you want to become Suya this night? Thomas grinned. Mama, my mouth brought this problem. Maybe my mouth can end it too. But just as he took a step, the earth shook. A loud roar tore through the sky, not from the forest, but beneath the ground. The villagers ran outside. And then, a giant crack opened in the village square. From it, something began to rise. Not a lion, not a man, not an animal, but a giant golden throne, floating in the air, and it was empty. Then a whisper came from nowhere, echoing across the village. The true king returns at moon's end, and only the boy with the broken mouth will speak the final word. Everyone turned to Thomas. And for once, he had nothing to say. The golden throne hovered in the air. It was big, shining, glowing like the sun, but empty, and the whisper still echoed in the wind. The true king returns at moon's end, and only the boy with the broken mouth will speak the final word. The villagers turned to Thomas. Even Mama Ifioma slowly stepped back. Thomas, she said quietly, whatever happens next, don't talk. Please. Even if the sky falls, don't talk. But Thomas was still Thomas. He stood there, his mouth itching, his tongue hot, his brain screaming to let the words out. The village changed. Food turned bitter. Drums refused to beat. Even the dogs stopped barking. People whispered. They prayed. They blamed. Everywhere Thomas passed, they pointed. He's the boy that broke the seal. He's the one who talked too much. Now the true king is angry. Thomas couldn't sleep. The words of the lions played in his head every night. You were chosen to carry the secret, not to spill it. But how could he hold back? He was born talking. His first word was, eh. The final day came. The moon was full, hanging low in the sky like it was watching. The throne in the square began to rumble again. This time, something was sitting on it. It wasn't a lion. It wasn't human. It was something ancient, part spirit, part shadow, part fire. Its face was hidden behind a lion skull. Its arms were long and covered in glowing symbols. Its voice echoed from every tree. Who broke the silence? Everyone pointed at Thomas. The spirit turned to him and spoke. You were trusted with the secret of the lion throne. You opened your mouth. Now, your mouth must end what it began. Speak the final word. Thomas was shaking. He didn't even know what the final word was. He turned to Mama Ifioma, crying. Mama, I don't know what to say. She whispered, then say nothing. The spirit growled, speak, or the ground will swallow the village. Thomas wiped his tears and opened his mouth. He didn't know where the word came from. It came from deep inside him, like something the lions had placed in his soul. He shouted it. Use your. Silence. The throne stopped shaking. The red moon dimmed. And then, the spirit stood up. It looked around. Its eyes met every soul in the village. And it said, the word was not yours to speak. Thomas blinked. But I thought. The spirit roared. You were the vessel, not the voice. You spoke early. Then you spoke wrongly. Now the price must be paid. The ground cracked open under Thomas's feet. Mama, he screamed, reaching out. Mama Ifioma ran, grabbed his hand, and held tight. No, not my boy. But the ground kept opening. Fire and darkness swirled beneath. Thomas cried, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. The spirit looked down at him one last time. Your mouth brought the end. Now your silence will bring peace. And with that, Thomas was swallowed by the earth. His voice gone. His smile gone. His sharp mouth finally shut. Forever. The village was quiet. Too quiet. The throne vanished. The lions never came again. Amaudo returned to normal, but it was never the same. Every child was warned. If you talk too much like Thomas, you might just talk your way out of this world. Mama Ifioma never smiled again. She placed a stone in the center of the village square. On it was carved, here lies the boy who spoke too early. And under it, some mouths are meant for chewing, not speaking. Moral of the story, not every truth is meant to be told. Sometimes, silence saves more than speech. Thomas learned too late. May you not make the same mistake.